Have you guys ever been at the back of a long line, like at the Department of Motor Vehicles, where you're waiting in this long line to renew your registration, and you just wanted to cut in line? Like, not, you don't want to cut to the front. I mean, you're a good person, but maybe just like cut into the middle? Well, I'm here to tell you that you cannot do that, okay? That's rude. But I am here to tell you that you can do that with your social posts. We just added a new feature that allows you to reorder the social posts that are in the queue or the requeue. So I'm going to show you how to do it. First, let's get started. I'm going to do a victory lap here and just run through exactly how to do all this. And then I'm going to go back and show you some of the exceptions, just so you understand the limitations of this, because you can't reorder everything using this method. So let's just start. I'm looking at a queue. It's a very simple example here. I've got blog post 1, blog post 2, blog post 3, and then a promotional one. These three are assigned to the blog post category, and then you've got a promotional one that is assigned to the promotional category. So using this really basic example, there are actually two different ways that I can reorder posts. I can do it here in the queue, or I can go and do it in the calendar. So I'm going to show you how to do it right here within the queue itself. So let's say I want to move blog post 3 right before blog post 2. So to do that, there's a new option here called Move. And this slide in is going to show you all of the available places where you can move it. And I'll go over later in the video like why the promotional one isn't showing here. So let's move this in front of blog post 2. So I'm going to do between blog post 1 and between blog post 2. So let's move it here. So now you'll notice the order is 1, 3, 2, because I just moved number 3 just between 2 and 1. So that's where it's going to drop that. And that will immediately be reflected in the calendar. So let's go over to the calendar and see what just happened here. So now it's 1, 3, 2 instead of 1, 2, 3. So if I wanted to do this from the calendar, I can also do that. Let's move 1 all the way to the end. So you could do it two different ways. I could either drag this over to where I want to move it, and then it's going to bring the slide in, and I'll be able to confirm exactly where. So if I want to move it to the end, obviously I would click here, and that would move it to the end. The other way I can do it, though, is I can just click on this, and there's a new Move button. That button won't appear if there is no way to move that particular post item, so you can't screw this up. So if I click Move and I want to do it to the very end, I would hover over this and choose after blog post 2. Now, blog post 1 is all the way at the end after blog post 2. So now we have 3, 2, 1. We've just completely reordered everything, this time doing it from within the calendar itself. So that's pretty simple, right? Now let's go through the exceptions. Let's talk about the things that you cannot move. I'm going to go over to the publisher, and I'm going to jump into the schedule, because this is the best place to explain this. So first of all, it only works on queue posts and requeue posts. If you have something scheduled for a specific time in the future, that will never be included in this move feature, because moving it is super easy. It's just scheduled. It's not impacting any other posts before it or after it. So all you have to do is either edit it in the queue or just drag it to where you want it to go in the calendar. This feature is only for Queue and ReQueue. And within that, not every Queue and ReQueue post can be moved in front of every other Queue and ReQueue post. So let's look at some exceptions. Remember in this example, I've got 3 blog posts and I've got 1 promotional post. You'll notice, see, when I hover, it shows promotional. What that means is that's only assigned to the promotional category. So let's go back to our DMV, our Department of Motor Vehicles example, where I'm standing there to renew my registration. And then there's another separate line that is for the purpose of taking a driver's test for first-time drivers. So if I were to cut in front of that line, would that help me? Not at all, because that line is for a different purpose. Yeah, I'll be closer to the front, but when I get to the front, they're not going to let me renew my registration. So think of it in those terms. Having separate categories for our queues allows you guys to have different queues for different purposes. That's why, since all of those 3 posts were only assigned to the blog post category, and these are the only 3 blog post items on the entire schedule, Well, naturally, it's only going to allow me to move them within these 3 items. If I try to move it after the promotional post that was in there, it wouldn't really change anything because the promotional post is in its own line. This is the schedule. The only place where a promotional post will go out, if it's assigned to a promotional category, is right here because that's the only place I have promotional category switched on. So I hope that makes some sense. I'm gonna do one other thing. Hopefully I don't confuse you. But let's get a little more complicated here. And let's say on Saturday, it's just a great time to post. So I want any category that's available to go out on Saturday. That makes sure that no matter what type of content I'm posting, it goes out on Saturday. So I'm going to say, let's check all posts, okay? Now I've got the blog post and the promotional. So let's save that. Now Saturday is kind of a catch-all. Whatever post is available will definitely go out on Saturday. That changes things, okay? Now that blog posts are assigned here, 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 and here, it's included here, let's go see what happens. So I'm going to go to the queue, and I'm going to say, all right, time to put blog post 3 back at the end where it belongs, okay? I'm going to go to move. Oh, that's interesting. Now promotional is there. And do you know why that is? The reason is because Saturday is now a catch-all, it includes the blog posts. So now if I go after promotional, it's actually going to allow me to jump behind that. So I'm going to move it past the promotional. And the reason I was able to do that is promotional and blog post are included in this schedule item. So because blog post was included and the social post I want to move is assigned to the blog post category, then of course it's going to allow me to move it before or after this because it will impact that particular schedule item, that time. So that's how it works. You'll get used to it. I just don't want you to freak out if you're trying to move a particular post that is in the queue or is in the requeue, and you say, hey, wait a minute, why isn't the promotional post included in the ones? Because I want it to actually go at the very end after the promotional. Well, that doesn't really work because promotional was in a totally different schedule item that was, not assigned to the blog post. So that's why that happens. And what's really neat about this is even if an item is in requeue mode, like let's say it already goes out and then it becomes a requeue, you're able to move that requeue in front of a queue item, which we've never been able to do before. Requeues almost always will go to the very end after all of the queues because queues are always deemed more important than requeues because they haven't gone out yet. But if you have that requeue and you jump in, here's what we've done for you. So number sent, the reason we put this here is because we include requeues. Let's say you have a requeue that's already gone out 8 times. To me, that's not as important as a brand new queue item. So if it says the number of times sent is 8, you may want to move your post in front of that. So I've just done this so you can be a little bit more educated in your decision, where I would almost always move something in front of a requeue that has more sent items than a requeue that has fewer sent items, because it's the law of diminishing returns. Every time a post is sent, it's going to get less engagement than the first time it was sent. So I'm just putting that there to educate you so you can, when you're figuring out where you want to drop your queue item, you can put it in a place that makes sense for your business. That's it. I really hope you guys enjoy this new feature, and I know it's been highly, highly requested. So enjoy. If you guys have any questions, just reach out to us in live chat, and we will be happy to answer them for you.